You're ready to relax and find peace with your calm meditation.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Beth Mayer. I'm one of the co-founders of the Starfish Foundation, and I'm the event chair for tonight, and I'm super excited to welcome you to this wonderful event. I am so pleased tonight. We have some wonderful guests. So as a reminder, this is in webinar mode, which means that your cameras won't be shown at all. So feel free to keep relaxing and enjoying your drink or food or snack or whatever. We're excited to have everyone here with us tonight. I'd like to start by introducing Stephanie Allen. Stephanie is our program manager in Ecuador, and she is incredible. She oversees all of our staff in Ecuador, all of our volunteers, as well as our students in Ecuador. So she really is the spearheader behind so many initiatives, and I'm super excited for her to tell you about all the awesome ways in which Starfish has pivoted in the past year. So I welcome Stephanie.
Thanks so much, Beth, and thank you everyone for joining us this evening. Here at the Starfish Foundation, we provide tutoring, scholarships, and leadership development to middle school and high school students in a marginalized neighborhood in Guayaquil, Ecuador. As was the case for many around the world, 2020 was a challenging year for our scholars and their families. At the height of the pandemic, Guayaquil was the city with the highest COVID rates in Ecuador. This resulted in an extended period of lockdown, leaving many of our families without work or a stable source of income. On top of that, the pandemic greatly affected the education system in Ecuador. The 2020-2021 school year kicked off about 2 months later than scheduled as schools worked to navigate how they would reach students virtually. At that time, many of our families didn't have internet access, and so we were worried that a lack of connectivity would impede some of our scholars' ability to continue their education and stay in school during the pandemic. However, as virtual classes got underway in June of 2020, we were so impressed by the perseverance that our scholars and their families showed to find a way to make it work. While some were able to install Wi-Fi, others relied on cell phone data, or they borrowed internet from their neighbors or their family members. But regardless of the ways that they had to connect, all of our students stayed in school and prioritized their education this past year. Unfortunately, the disparities in virtual learning are not limited simply to having internet access. About 30% of our students and our families don't have enough devices for each of their students. So that means that they have to juggle schedules and just try to be sure that all of their students can participate in their classes and complete their assignments on time. Additionally, the quality of virtual learning varies greatly from school to school. During the past school year, 32% of our students received 1 hour or less per week of live instructions from their schools. And about half of those students said they didn't even receive any regular live instruction from their teachers. Many students had to fend for themselves with asynchronous assignments, and they were often receiving little feedback about their work. But that is where Starfish has been able to step in this past year. Since June of 2020, our tutoring program has been running 100% virtually. Instead of seeing our students in person at tutoring at our site, our team of educators has been connecting with our students using apps like WhatsApp for texting and Zoom for video chats to support them with their schoolwork and ensure that they were receiving regular educational instruction. Our staff really worked tirelessly this year to ensure that we could continue to provide high quality educational support to our students, providing homework help when it was needed, as well as hosting weekly live tutoring sessions in 5 main subjects, including math, language, social studies, science, and English. Moving our programs online meant that our staff had to be very creative and constantly working to find new and exciting ways to teach our students online. At the end of the day, I think one of our biggest achievements this year wasn't only making that switch to virtual learning, but ensuring that tutoring was still not only educational, but lots of fun as well. Reflecting on the successes and challenges of this past year, our team is now actively preparing for the start of a new school year on May 10th. So we are about to get a new school year underway. And while vaccination rollout remains limited in Ecuador, we anticipate spending most of the 2021-2022 school year online. Luckily though, with many months of virtual tutoring under our belts, our team feels confident that we will be able to continue to innovate and improve our virtual tutoring program to meet our students' needs. We will be expanding the number of live tutoring sessions at Starfish in 2021 to provide students with approximately 3 hours of live instruction per week in our tutoring program, along with additional homework help as needed. We will have 110 students participating in our tutoring program this year, 68 of whom are also scholarship recipients. I'm also really pleased to share that this year we had our highest retention rate yet for students in our tutoring program. 98% of students who participated in our tutoring program last year have re-enrolled in our program again for next year, which I think is a real testament to the value of our programming and the support that Starfish is able to provide students and their families, especially during this unconventional time. None of what we do would be possible without the support of folks like all of you. All of us, staff and students here in Ecuador, are so grateful to know that there are people thousands of miles away supporting us and ensuring that our students can achieve their goals. And for that, we are eternally grateful. In a few moments, we'll be hearing directly from one of our Starfish scholars. But before that, we'd like to invite you all along with us on a little video tour of our neighborhood of Flor de Bastion and give you a little peek into what a normal day in the life looked like at our site prior to the pandemic.
The Starfish Foundation, or as we call it in Ecuador, La Fundación Caritas del Mar, is nestled outside of the city of Guayaquil in a neighborhood called Flor de Bastion. Flor de Bastion received its first inhabitants about 20 years ago, and some of our Starfish families were the first to move there. It is characterized by long, winding, and unpaved hills, where during the dry season it can be windy and dusty, while the rainy season it can be quite muddy. The foundation is a place where students gather to learn and play and spend time together.
I love that video. That was so incredible to see all of our students in where they spend so much time every day. I love hearing that they were the first, some of the first families in the neighborhood. And it's been a long time since I visited Flor, but it feels so familiar. And it's awesome just seeing it and feeling like we're right there. So thanks, Stephanie, for sharing that video with us. And it was just awesome to hear all the ways in which you all have pivoted. I know there have been so many ways in which I've pivoted in the past year and people I know have pivoted, but it's incredible to hear that WhatsApp and Zoom and borrowing devices and scheduling and all these things are ways in which our students have really bridged some really crazy challenges. So thanks for all your work, Stephanie, and please pass that along to the staff as well, because that's really incredible. I am so excited that we have a very special guest with us tonight, and her name is Emily. Emily is one of our current Starfish students, and one of the major silver linings of this pandemic is that this event is virtual and that we can have Stephanie here with us tonight, and Emily, both Stephanie and Emily. It's so special. Emily has been practicing for tonight, and I am just so impressed with you, Emily, and can't wait for you to share with us. So I present to you, Emily.
Hi, I am Emily, and I am happy to be here with all you.
Thanks so much for joining us, Emily. We have a couple of questions prepared, but for this portion of the evening, we would invite all of you who are following along at home to leave any questions that you might have for Emily in the Q&A box that's on your screen, and we will get to them shortly. So to get started, Emily, can you tell us what is your favorite part of being at Starfish?
Okay, it's true that we're all a family where we live and share comfortable moments together. We play together, we laugh together, we do everything together, and we can be ourselves. We can say that what we think. That is my favorite part of belonging to the Starfish. Really, I love to belong to the Starfish, to belong to this family.
That's wonderful. That's so true. We definitely are a big family. And so can you tell us a little bit more about how Starfish has been a family to you?
Okay, the foundation has been is part of my family. It's always there for everyone. It's always there to encourage us to fulfill our goals and dreams. Above all, is always there to support us, and that is what makes a family. Since I belong to the foundation, I have always received their support, and I will always be grateful for all the affection and help the Starfish has given me.
That's so wonderful to hear. And so talking about that support that you've received from your Starfish family, can you tell us how you've changed or grown because of your time at Starfish?
Okay, and the Starfish Foundation has allowed me to perfect my personal skills, especially in the social aspect, and I had managed to set essential goals for my future professional life. And thanks to the foundation and my parents, I had very set goals and objectives. I know where I come from, where I am, and where I want to go, what I want to achieve and reach for my life.
That is so wonderful. And what kind of goals do you have for your family and for your future?
Okay, my family will always be the most important in my life. Everything I do thinking about them. The only clear and very stable goal I have is I want to give them a better life, to give them that better opportunities and give them that very great effort that they have made so that I can fulfill my dream. That is why in every opportunity that is presented to me, I try to destroy and give everything of me for them.
That's so wonderful, Emily. It's such a great sentiment. And so the last question we have before we get to our Q&A is, as you can all see, Emily is speaking in wonderful English. She's been learning a lot of English this past year and been practicing very hard. And we're so proud of her. She earned a scholarship this year to study English. So we are super proud of her. And so I'm wondering, Emily, since you're learning English, do you have any advice for people trying to learn Spanish or a new language?
Okay, and my advice to the people who are learning Spanish is that I really want to learn that they do it with a lot and effort because it will be worth that effort that they will make as advice. I will also give them three steps to follow that personally help me a lot to learn English. First, learning with love. I think if you put a lot into what you do, it's going to be a lot easier. A second, dedication and for perseverance. If one puts into practice the three words will achieve. It's because when someone wants to achieve something, they have to be constant to achieve it or else they will not achieve it. As a tourist, don't to be afraid to make mistakes. I think that is everyone fear of being wrong. It would must learn that it's okay to be wrong because you learn from your mistakes. That would be my advice for people who are learning Spanish, and not just for them, but for people that want to learn anything new.
That is wonderful advice. And I think you're a great example for all of us that to step outside of our comfort zones and learn something new. And we really appreciate your advice. So now we're going to head over to the Q&A. We have a couple questions that have come in. So we're going to ask them. Emily, so one of the popular questions here is, what is one of your favorite books? ¿Cuál es uno de tus libros favoritos?
And my favorite book is Eres Mía Pequeña. The text is in Spanish. The title is in Spanish.
Wonderful. Thank you, Emily. There's another question. What are your hopes and dreams for the future? What kind of profession are you hoping to explore?
Okay. I am sure that I'm going to be a great doctor. Is I love this profession.
A doctor. What a wonderful goal that you have. And I'm sure that you will be able to make it and achieve those goals and be a wonderful doctor at that. All right, there's another question here. What grade are you in and what is your favorite subject in school?
My favorite subject is science. I love the science.
And what grade are you in, Emily? ¿En qué grado estás?
I am in junior.
Yeah, great. All right, I think we have time for maybe two more questions. So we will see, who is one of your heroes? ¿Quién es uno de tus héroes?
my parents. My parents are my heroes for me.
That's wonderful. All right, I think we have time for one last question. So one of the questions here is, what are your dreams for your neighborhood? ¿Cuáles son los sueños que tienes para tu barrio?
Ok. Esto lo quiero decir en español. En este sector abunda mucho lo que es el tráfico de drogas, entonces creo que eso es algo que me gustaría cambiar mucho, porque hay niños muy pequeños aquí y siento que no es un buen ejemplo para ellos, entonces eso es algo que sí me gustaría trabajar mucho y por esa razón me gustaría ser doctora para tener mi propio centro de ayuda para las personas que consumen este tipo de sustancias.
So Emily was sharing that one of the biggest issues that she sees in her neighborhood is drug consumption. And that's something that she would really like to change. There's a lot of young kids in her neighborhood, and the level of drug consumption is just a bad example for the young people in her community. And so that's something that she really wants to work towards. And one of the reasons she wants to be a doctor, to be able to have a place in her community where she can help people who are suffering from addiction and ensure that other kids don't end up in that same situation. Thank you so much, Emily, for answering our questions and being here tonight. We really appreciate it, and we loved having you.
Thank you for your question. It was question wonderful. It was incredible to be here. And sorry for my English. My pronunciation is terrible. Until the next time.
Emily, your pronunciation was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And we are so grateful that you spent so much time preparing for tonight and sharing with us tonight. I am so inspired hearing all of your goals and the way that Starfish has really helped you get on that path towards those goals. So thank you. I know that Starfish is really special to you, and thank you for sharing that spirit with us. And your English is great, so don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Oh, wow, that was wonderful. We are so excited. So one of the special things that I love about Starfish, as Emily talked about, as Stephanie talked about, is the family component. And all the different ways in which our families of our scholars are really supportive as well. So the Vega family is one of our wonderful families at Starfish, and our families pitch in so many ways. And tonight we thought that it'd be really fun to share a quick little cooking demo with you. It's something fun to watch. If you're like me, you might like watching things like this on social media because it's fun. And we will be able to share this video with you afterwards in case you also want to make a bolón de queso, which is one of my favorite snacks. I didn't pick this, but so it must be other people's favorite snacks too. But we would love to show you this video from the Vega family.
Hoy voy a hacer un bolón de queso. Los ingredientes que necesito son verde, mantequilla, queso para hacer este bolón, aceite para freír los verdes, porque bueno, se los hace de diferentes maneras, puede ser el verde cocinado o frito, es ya cuestión de cada persona como lo desea hacer. Cafecito para hacer una tacita de café, y como a mis hijos les gusta, boloncito con huevo. Así que hoy vamos a hacer boloncito de queso con huevito frito y una tacita de café. Primero frío los verdes como patacones, pero no los voy a hacer patacones, obviamente. Primero frío que esté bien frito el verde para aplastarlo. Y aquí, como vemos, ya está frito el verde, ya lo puedo aplastar. Y voy a mover este también. Este no se caliente tanto. Bajar un poquito la llama porque voy a hacer unos huevitos. Entonces ahora yo le voy a poner quesito. Voy a poner con pedacito, yo los aplasto. Obviamente tengo las manitos lavadas por si acaso. Le voy a poner quesito. Yo hago mi bolón así, no sé, cada quien tiene su preferencia de la forma de hacerlo, pero yo lo hago de esta manera. Y me lavo las manos. Le pongo un poquito de sal al gusto. Y mantequilla. Eso es lo que yo le pongo al bolón. Con una cucharadita de eso dependiendo de cada forma de hacerlo. Empiezo a majar mis verdes de esta manera hasta formar una masita. Si ven cómo va quedando la masita. Aquí se amasa bien, ya está mi masita para formar los bolones. Entonces me voy a enjuagar las manos para poder formar los bolones. Ya con las manitas lavadas cogemos un poquito de masa, formamos los boloncitos. Yo ya tengo aquí frito unos huevitos, porque a mis hijos les gusta con un huevito. El boloncito depende del tamaño que lo quieras hacer, ¿no? ¿Verdad? Entonces, y cafecito, que así que les gusta a mis hijos. Y este es mi boloncito con queso y cafecito y huevito frito. Gracias. Bueno.
Muy bueno, quise.
Wow, that looked amazing. Oh my goodness. I don't know about anyone else on here, but I am definitely craving a bologna right now. I'm so excited tonight to introduce a dear friend of mine, Erica Anderson. Erica, I knew her first, but Erica's been a friend of Starfish for many, many years. And something really cool right now is you can see my virtual background and Erica's virtual background are actually at Starfish. So mine is on the inside of the classroom from a few years ago. And Erica's is actually the outside the building. So if you walk in the doors behind her, you would see what you have on my screen. Erica is on our board of directors and has also for many years pre-COVID led the Friends of Starfish trip, where folks like us can travel to Ecuador to visit Starfish for about a week and get to meet some of our students and staff. I'm excited tonight because Erica is going to talk about some of the ways in which Starfish has grown over the years and what she's seen the numerous times that she's visited Starfish. So Erica, take it away.
Thank you so much, Beth, for the kind introduction and for inviting me tonight to share about my experiences at Starfish. I've been involved with Starfish as a volunteer for the last 5 years, and in that time, I've had the great fortune to travel to Ecuador 3 times with Starfish. So first of all, I have to say that wonderful video tour of our neighborhood, Flor de Bastion, has sparked so many memories for me, and I'm sure that other folks here tonight also felt the same way. So I'm going to ask anyone who's traveled to Ecuador with Starfish to share with us in the chat on this call. So if you've been on a Friends of Starfish trip or have served as a volunteer in Guayaquil, drop us a quick line in the chat to tell us the year that you visited and one favorite Ecuadorian thing that you miss. While everyone is doing that, allow me to share a bit more about my visits to Ecuador. When I first came to Ecuador in 2017, I was warmly welcomed by my host family. Let me introduce you. Here we have the Lopez family. You can see Starfish scholar Jeremy wearing his Navy t-shirt, standing with his brother Alexander, his sister Christina, and their mom and dad. The first day I arrived at their house, I was greeted by Maria and immediately ushered to the kitchen table for an enormous meal. This first encounter became a good indication of what the rest of my time in Ecuador would look like. many large meals, and hospitality beyond what I had ever experienced in my life. I've stayed with the Lopez family 3 times now, and I've developed special connections with each family member. When we attended tutoring sessions together, Jeremy loves the lessons and engages excitedly. He's studious and always gets to his homework first before helping his little brother and sister. Beyond the academic subjects, he loves playing soccer in the courtyard with other Starfish scholars. Maria and I like to share a cup of coffee together in the mornings after the kids go off to school and Christian goes to work. We sit and chat about our personal lives, how the kids are doing in school, and my favorite thing, trying new tropical fruit. She brings out samples and tells me the names while I try them all. One of the best times we've had together as a family was a night of cooking pancakes with real Canadian maple syrup. They had never made pancakes, so I showed them how to prep the batter and flip them when they're halfway cooked. Unfortunately, my Spanish language skills completely failed me when it came to the word for maple syrup, so they had no idea what to expect. But I'd say it was a pleasant surprise in the end. I love visiting Starfish year after year because I get to bear witness to the changes and growth that our scholars and our community experience. I love seeing the younger brothers and sisters of Starfish scholars, like Christina and Alexander, come to the foundation to visit their older siblings. They can't wait until it's their turn to come to Starfish and participate in the learning and fun. Starfish has encouraged whole families to fully engage in their children's education, and the spirit of learning goes far beyond the tutoring sessions. The physical space that Starfish occupies continues to shift to support the ongoing and changing program needs. So a corner of the courtyard can become a reading club or a music club under a tent. Inside the building, students and staff have left their mark by painting bright colors and designating corners for certain learning goals, like the technology center or the reading center. Students clean the room after every lesson and flip the space for the next intended purpose. When I toured the neighborhood where Starfish is located, Flor de Bastión, I love getting waves from parents who are standing on their stoop. Kids will join us on our walks, and they're eager to show us their schools and their homes. The groups that walk with me get bigger and bigger each year as the foundation grows to include more students and new families. More than anything, what changes the most is the faces I see each time I visit. There's a bittersweet quality to my visit in Ecuador because our circle and our community in Flor de Bastión grows and shifts as folks complete their education and move into post-secondary school, new jobs, and new life experiences. I'm especially proud of the Starfish scholars who have graduated and choose to volunteer or complete a work-study year with Starfish. Their youth and enthusiasm brings such a fun quality to Starfish activities, encouraging younger students to come out of their shells and learn about themselves as leaders. As Beth mentioned, pre-pandemic, I led the annual Friends of Starfish trip. During this week-long stay, some highlights include bunking with host families, attending tutoring sessions, visiting the local neighborhood school, and also visiting many, many Starfish families who are excited to welcome us into their homes to share meals and conversations. Starfish also welcomes many long-term volunteers who organize new clubs and extracurriculars and plan social events for our scholars. The volunteers stay with host families as well for several weeks or months and integrate with Ecuadorian staff to help wherever needed. I'm so looking forward to a time when we can once again welcome international visitors and volunteers to Guayaquil and offer in-person support for the dozens of young students who have chosen to make education their priority and focus. We'll drop a sign-up link in the chat if you're interested in joining us in Ecuador in the future, and we'll absolutely keep you informed when we plan to safely reopen for international visitors. What stands out to me when I visit the Starfish community is how everybody has a part to play in the success of the program. The students demonstrate their commitment to education through participation in tutoring and leadership development. Staff educators foster growth through individualized support for each student in their study groups. The parents attend weekend sessions to better understand the issues that teens in Ecuador are facing today. Parents also contribute by providing daily healthy snacks, participating in the annual talent show, and attending various events at Starfish in support of their children. Starfish volunteers contribute to the ongoing operations of the organization through involvement both in Guayaquil and virtually. So today I'm inviting you to also join the Starfish Foundation community. Whether this is your first time attending an Evening for the Stars, or you've been here since the very first benefit dinner, I welcome you into this extended circle that has connected us across countries and continents. One way to support our work is through monetary donations. This year, our total fundraising goal is $55,000. Can you help us get there? If you're able, consider sending a donation now by texting GIVE30 to 76278 to provide 1 month's tutoring program costs. You can also give any other amount by texting GIVE and the number. In Ecuador, the cost of living is significantly lower than in Toronto, where I live. So I know even a $10 donation goes a long way. Your contributions help Starfish continue our programming year over year so that we can continue supporting folks like Jeremy and Emily. Be sure to also check out the online auction before it closes at 9:30 Eastern Time. Truly, anything can happen last minute, and I don't want you to miss out on the great items that are up for bid, so keep your eye on the prize. Now, before I wrap up, I want to share one last story. My very first interaction with Starfish was actually as a friend. Beth shared with me an idea that she was working on with her friend Jen, and at the time I offered what I could. I listened, I supported their ideas, and I made connections to folks who might be able to help. Now, I wonder if you could do the same. I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting with your funds and your encouragement. And I ask you to make a connection with us whenever possible. If you know someone who can help us continue to grow, please put them in touch. Thank you so much and have a wonderful night at the auction and trivia.
Thank you so much, Erica. And wow, thank you so much to everyone who's donating. Can we see that thermometer again? I love seeing. It's really incredible. We are just so grateful for all your support. Wow. And we are getting closer and closer every minute to our event goal of 55,000. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. It means so much to Emily and Erica and Stephanie and myself and all of the folks that made this possible. I have a couple quick thank yous to share before we adjourn for our evening. First of all, to our sponsors, to our Anonymous Friends of Starfish at the graduate level, to our educator sponsors, Jane Awal, the Catholic Community of South Baltimore, Nave Newell Inc., and Megan Wilson of the W Home Group, as well as our classmate sponsors, Ron and Jan Van Heusen and Miss Valentori. Thank you so much. Without you all, this event would not be possible. Obviously, it takes a lot of hands to make these events come to life. And I also want to give some special thanks to our silent auction donors. It's not too late, as you've heard, so happy bidding, everyone. And to all the volunteers that you see here, as well as our Encounter Ecuador speakers. We are just so grateful for all your support, all your energy, and to you. Thank you for attending tonight, for showing up, for spending some time with us virtually, and for all your support. It just means so, so much to us. So I hope to see many of you at trivia tonight. If you want to join and haven't signed up, you can still come to trivia and we'll put you on a team. The link will be in the chat. And thanks everyone, and especially thanks Emily for spending some time with us. Thank you all, and we'll see you at trivia. Have a good night. Bye.